Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And while we do love to see the SNP implode and get riven in half with division left, right and centre, to see the civil war raging, to see the members resign, it's all great fun. But we must remember that there is another party in government in Scotland, and that of course is the Greens. And so it comes with great personal satisfaction when I see them riven, having infighting, having division, and basically showing themselves up as the intolerant bunch of mentally ill people that they truly are. Going to have a look at this report to see why the Greens are so intolerant, even of themselves. It's fantastic, isn't it? You couldn't make it up, you know. You just couldn't. If I was a scriptwriter, I'd look at that, I'd go, nah, nobody would believe it. But it's true. Here goes. So, Scottish Greens in internal trans row amid complaint of aggressive, intolerant faction. Who'd have thought it? The Greens being intolerant. Oh, shudder at the thought. The Greens have launched a bitter attack on a member who called his party to be... Now, the member... Now, not that member. Who called for his party to be a broad church, not a narrow, exclusionary sect. But it is. And then you look at these two. You know, the horsewoman of Alberta... and the little leprechaun. You wonder where's that finger been? Where's that finger been, Patrick? You know, on his days off, he sits at the end of a rainbow with a little pot of gold. Internal elections for the Scottish Greens have amounted to bitter complaints of transphobia. Or as they've put there, transbobia. The level of journalism integrity in this country is appalling. Anyway, they've also included, they've been accused of being right-wing, of defending TERFs, and on the flip side, there's warnings of aggressive attempts to oust members who believe in biological sex over gender theory. David Jardine, who is standing to become the co-convener of the party's Conduct and Complaints Committee, has faced accusation of engaging in right-wing transphobic talking points that have no place in the Scottish Greens. Well, you know, you've got to say this. Oh, he believes in biological sex over theory. Yes, there's a man who believes that someone who is conceived at the moment of conception is male at the moment of conception. It's decided at that point. And they grow up and look at him with his male musculature, male skeletal form. Look, you know, with his nice, not having those childbearing hips. Oh, look at him with his prostate. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you put on a pretty frock, some high heels, a bit of a wig, a bit of lippy, call yourself Susan. You're still a man. You're still a man. It doesn't matter what you get cut off. You're still a man. Biologically, you're a man. Physiologically, you're a man. Mentally, you're nuts. You know, you can cut your balls off. That doesn't achieve anything. Although it does apparently mean that you can be the leader of the SNP. But other than that, nothing. You're still a man. Anyway, he claims he's not been made formally aware of the complaints, but has been careful to not say anything transphobic, given his party's views on gender, i.e. his party's mistaken views on gender. A sitting MSP claimed kids as young as 8 should be allowed to change sex, which of course they can't. They can merely dress nice and dress differently, whatever. Can't change your sex. While Patrick Harvey and co-leader Lorna Slater ended their association with their counterparts down south on the issue of gender, because these Greens, the Scottish Greens, are even more bonkers than the English Greens, if that's at all possible. Obviously it is. The pro-Indie party went to the national newspaper to publicise the complaints that have the sign-off of the Women's Network, the Young Greens and the Rainbow Greens and the Trade Union Group. I believe a rainbow green is green. Can't have lots of different colours in a rainbow green, can you? Seems weird. The party members will vote on various internal positions from July the 19th. During the election process, Mr Jardine claimed the Scottish Greens had become intolerant and exclusionary. Well, shudder the thought. He said that party members have been suspended and expelled or driven out by aggressive faction, which has scapegoated folk who believe that one's sex is determined by biology, i.e. people with a solid foundation of truth in their head. They only want people who are deluded in positions of authority. They truly do want the lunatics to run the asylum. Is it any wonder people look at the Greens and go, no, you're fucking bonkers. And then they get people like gross rear and put him in a position of authority. It's weird. And there's a picture of him. Look, the world's soyest of soy boys, still hanging off his mummy's coattails. Mummy, mummy, the madman's saying bad things. Please make it stop. What a tit. Anyway, he accused that faction of having created a hostile environment, adding the core objective of green politics is sustainability. To achieve that, we need, among other things, to be a broad church, not a narrow exclusionary sect. The cause is urgent, and we need to get along with our fellow members and find them as we find them, not as we would like them to be. In other words, please stop throwing out all the sensible people who understand what sex is and stop promoting those lunatics who think that you can change the reality just by making it of deeply held belief. The thing is, 2010, I've said this before, the 2010 Equality Act is a marvellous piece of legislation, and in it, one of the protected characteristics is philosophical belief. Now, all you have to do is say that you have a deep philosophical belief that sex is determined at birth, and it doesn't matter what a person chooses to call themselves or to be regarded as. If you truly believe that sex is determined at birth, and that is your deeply held philosophical belief, then you can call a man who dresses as a woman a man, and there is nothing that can be done, because that is a protected characteristic. It's a wonderful piece of legislation. It basically means you can root out the nutters and call them what they are. Men, usually. Anyway, the complaint seen by the National, the newspaper The National, which of course is the Pravda for the SNP and the Nationalists. It is little more than toilet paper, or to be honest, it's not even good enough for toilet paper. They claimed his words were aggressive, threatening and prejudicial. Ah, bless. The fact that the man states the truth is upsetting to those lunatics in the Greens. They said the statement is transphobic and exclusionary towards non-binary people. Yes, but it's not heterophobic, and it's not exclusionary to normal people, like everything that the Greens say about, gender. The Green Party member has been quoted as saying the decision to publish the nomination with the transphobia and attacks on the party was the party of trans rights, throwing trans people under the bus. If only that was a thing. Another said that at a hustings held on Monday, Mr Jardine was clearly advocating for the rights and views of TERFs, in his word, and that is an offence in its own right. To call someone a TERF is offensive. And he was questioning the party's tolerance of sex-based rights. But there is no tolerance. If you want tolerance, then you've got to tolerate people who have a view that men are men and women are women and never the twain should meet. Well, obviously, there's plenty of times that they should meet. But what I mean is that men who pretend they're women are still men, and you've got to accept that. But there's no tolerance. We will tolerate everything except intolerance. It's a load of crap, isn't it? They're saying it's all right-wing, transphobic, and it's horrible for them. Well, bless. Don't forget, they're the party that have, as a representative, a man who served, I think it was 30 years or something, or 30 years ago, did a lot of time in prison for attempted attempted to take somebody's life, who's then calling for absolute physicality in terms of, the V word, bang, bum, in the face, for anyone, for TERFs, basically. If anyone is a TERF, he called them. Said, oh no, just boom and punch him in the face and all that. And he's a member of the Greens. So much for tolerance. And that's who the Greens are. Bunch of lunatics and a bunch of hypocrites, and they're led by the likes of those. Absolute morons. A woman who can't do her job, and a little man who doesn't know what his job is, except that they're after his lucky charms. I'm coming up. The Greens are just a joke, aren't they? And if there's anything more stupid than a Green politician, it's the people who vote for them. Absolute lunatics. And they just attract extremists and nutters. It's the home. It is the home of the mentally ill. It truly is. Anyway, I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, the Greens are the party where you go when you're a complete loser. Bye.